What's up, guys? This is Keith Kelfis with the Untrapped Podcast, the show where we give motivational, inspirational tips about life, small business, and let's get right into it. We got Eric Trice from Cambridge, Maryland, the founder of Absolute Pressure Cleaning, and also the creator and founder of the Fleet Wash Academy 2020, and it's happening in Clearwater, Florida in February. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. This is going to be powerful, a very, very high profit margin business model to get into if you don't already know about this, especially you guys here in my audience. But anyways, Eric Trice, when he launched his business, he was so motivated that he just went pedal to the metal, and literally he almost lost his truck. Like, it got repossessed and then got a foreclosure tag stamped on his house because he just went like a rocket is spending 100% of that fuel to get off the ground, and whatever it destroys on the ground don't matter because that thing's going to go through the stratosphere. And then within a very short period of time, he was able to just pay all that stuff off and just boom. Now he's doing $500,000 this last year here, and a very successful guy, very humble guy. And his Fleet Wash Academy, he's doing these around the country. I met him actually a couple years ago right in Detroit with Mr. DJ Carroll invited me out, and I got to meet Eric and shake his hand. And that's right, you were in Detroit, right?
Yeah, that was actually the first Fleet Wash Academy conference.
Dude, that was awesome. And so, talking to here, you were very conscious in that decision that you said, dude, I'm just going for it, because you knew on the back end you would make so much profit. Once it became clear to you, it didn't matter the short-term pain, right?
Exactly. It was like one moment I just like clicked, like I knew, all right, I've got my hands on something here. Like, I've got two choices: either roll with it and make it happen, or get out.
Yeah, dude.
I rode with it.
So for those that don't know, like, we hear power washing like people's sidewalks and driveways, or maybe even soft washing their houses, and you got these cool chemicals where you can spray on a type of bleach and make all the mold and algae come right off, and it's this high profit thing because it's just soap and water, but it's very specialized. It takes a lot of skill and training. It's not something you could just get into. But now I'm hearing fleet washing of semis. Like, I'm coming to your live event in 2020, and thank you so much for letting me do a presentation talking about social media marketing, but I'm there to learn, dude. I'm excited to learn from you. Talk about this whole opportunity and how you got into it.
Yeah, so it's funny, like, when I got into it, somebody recommended it as just a side hustle, and I had no idea anything like that existed. I just, he said, you should go wash trucks, and I'm like, do what? Like, that doesn't sound like something I would want to do, but I just dove into it, and it's the great thing about it is it's almost recession proof. Like, there's no, there are always going to be dirty trucks, and companies that want to separate themselves from everybody else, they're going to want to keep their image clean, and they're going to want to keep their trucks clean. So they're always going to want to have their trucks clean. So it's almost like it's not 100% recession proof, but it's such a niche market, and not too many people do it. So it's what I really loved about it.
You just gave this memory. Before I started my business and I was bouncing around from landscape company to landscape company, I worked at this one local here. It was in the middle of the freezing winter. I needed work, and they hired me. I thought, they fired me after like a week. But anyways, they threw me on a pressure washer, and they had a bunch of dump trucks, and that they made me sit there power washing dump trucks, and I was sitting there out there, in the freezing cold, trying to get all the mud off, and I literally couldn't believe how hard it was to just power wash, and how time consuming all the mud off underneath the frame, the fenders, and all the so you have a way to do that fast so it's profitable?
Yeah, you said dump trucks, so typically
they were huge. Like, I'm talking like mini semis, like huge.
Oh yeah, so you're in Michigan, so your dump trucks are a lot bigger than ours. A dump truck for us, like, it's still a dump truck that most people would think of, but it's, we 12 minutes, 10 minutes each. So I expect my guys, I expect my guys to do them.
It was caked in mud and all types of, but how do you get that stuff off?
we use, I'll get technical for a second, but we use 8-gallon-a-minute machines. So that means we can just push a lot more water faster. And we let that water do the work for us. So, when it's caked with mud, of course, they're going to take a little bit longer, but we're in there every week, every 2 weeks. So they're not getting that dirty or as dirty. So we're kind of staying on top of it. So once you get past the first time, it's more of a maintenance thing. You're kind of just taking care of it. So a lot of times it's cheaper for us to come in and do that because we're in, anywhere from, upwards of $50 to, $35-$40 for a dump truck. So think about that. Like how long it took you 2 hours using their supplies, their chemicals, their everything, their liabilities on the line. We come in there, liabilities on us. We can save it. We can actually save them money. So that's really what makes the most sense for us.
So do you go to them or do they come to you?
Yeah, I go to them. I have a few customers that come to me, but I'd say 99% of my work is me going to them.
So you have a truck, a rig? Do you have a flatbed trailer with a bunch of equipment on it? Like huge tanks and shit? Like heated tanks?
Yeah, so one truck's a flatbed. It's just like the little truck that kind of bops around, and then my main trucks are international box trucks.
Wait, I got to show this to everybody on the screen here. We're gonna dive deep, and I'm gonna ask you a whole bunch of questions. This is crazy. So should I just go on your Google Images, or should I what do I look up to show everybody?
Like pictures of what we do. Go on. You go on my website.
Okay, absolute pressure cleaning.
It'd be washmytrucks.com.
Oh, that's dope. Wow, you can go and wash people's semis and they don't even have to be there, and you just charge their credit card, right? Like you set up accounts. And just like I have a window cleaning business, we go to people's houses and we got to go in their houses and make sure that they're home, but you can literally just go wash people's semis. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I see all your certifications here. This is a dope website. Oh, before and after.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you guys here on the screen. Let me get this over on the big screen for you. And if those of you that can't see this, you can go and see these pictures. You just type in the Untrapped Podcast on YouTube and then the Untrapped Podcast channel or my Keith Kalfas channel. But all the podcasts and videos will be on the Untrapped Podcast YouTube channel. And then just look up Fleet Wash, and then you'll be able to see this if you're interested in this. So I see the before and after where it's like filthy dirty and then it's clean, but I want to see the equipment that you use.
Okay.
What about maybe like the name of like the equipment you use or like the guy you bought it from or whatever?
So I get a lot of my stuff from Southside Equipment, but I have them do some kind of off the wall stuff for me. Like I had them custom build me a burner so I can run 2 machines for it. Like this burner, I can run probably like 3 8-gallon-a-minute machines through it to heat the water. Thing's massive. I don't have any pictures of my equipment though.
Here you go.
I can get some
equipment.
You know what? I might have one.
I'm dragging this tab over so everybody can see it.
Yeah. So here's an example of like a truck that we run.
Oh, it's on Zoom here?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen.
Dope.
Can you see that?
I'm trying to get over to the screen here. Oh, there you go. Yeah, oh, there we go. Okay, guys, can you see this? Yeah. So that's a very clean truck, but is that your truck? What's going on here?
That's one just like what we run. That one's like brand new. They haven't sent it out yet. So that's the style of truck that we run. I have let me find one. I got a promo video that shows like the flatbed.
So you load up like a 1,000-gallon heated pressure washer tank with water in there and then soap, and you spray soap all over. It's like a mobile car wash, right? Yeah.
So we run. It's a 1,500-gallon tank, and then we have like one of these trucks we'll run 2 or 3 guys out of, and it's just a big hot water heater that heats the water.
A 2 to 3 man crew.
Yeah.
So like one guy gets out and grabs a scrubber and starts soaping everything up or something, or?
Yeah, so we 2-step primarily are almost everything. And for those that are watching or listening that don't know what 2-step is, it's basically you apply a pre-wash and then you come right back behind that with a soap over top of it, a high alkaline, high pH soap. and then you rinse it off. And basically, the dirt just kind of
comes right off.
Disappears.
So do you scrub it with like a brush?
Occasionally, I'd say every truck that we wash gets brushed maybe twice, 2 to 3 times a year. Other than that, it's all touchless.
Nice. And how much for a truck like that we see on this picture right here would it cost?
To wash this truck, typically anywhere from $25 to $35.
And how long does it take?
Something like this, 6 minutes.
6 minutes?
Yeah.
So do you go to places where people rent, like here in Michigan where I store my equipment? It's a lot. And I got a whole bunch of landscaping and lawn care and tree service. Like my neighbors are local business owners and my competitors, but I'm cool with these guys. And so would you pull up at a place like that and just go boom, 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 boom? Like you have 6 in this one, 7 in that one, or do you go everywhere?
Did you start washing? Yeah, so we travel. I ran the report yesterday. We traveled just under 1,000 miles last week. So we're all over the place.
So just lawn care, something like route density would be very important?
Absolutely. So that was another thing I looked at yesterday is how many trucks we wash per mile. I don't have that sheet in front of me, but I think it was 0.3 trucks per mile is what I was at. And I'm shooting to get closer to half, 0.5.
And how many times a month would you wash these trucks?
It varies on the customer. So I always try to get them to do it every week because my favorite trucks to wash are the ones that are still some kind of clean from last week because they're just faster and easier. But a lot of people do every 2 weeks. And then we have a few that do once a month.
Guess what, bro? I never pressed the record button on any of this. I fucking can't believe it, bro. I'm so pissed right now because we were right in the meat and potatoes. But hey, you know what? I just didn't press the record on the Zoom, and we were recording on the actual podcast this entire time. So, and we got this camera rolling right now on record.
Mm-hmm.
So
you should be able to see all that.
I'm just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna record right now, and then just cut this in.
Okay.
All right, recording. And this is the Zoom is a 40-minute max anyways, unless I spend $100 and something bucks a month and some things. So we should be good. So guys, everything's cool. Go to the Untrapped podcast on YouTube and then you can get in and see. So show that truck again for anybody who didn't see.
All right.
So how much per truck?
It varies. So this truck right here would be $25, $35, depending on how often and how many they had. I also have a minimum of $150. So if he really wants me to wash his truck and he's only got this one truck, it's going to be $150. Now I'll vary from that a little bit, but
dude, if you didn't say that, the whole time I was thinking what, how is this even possible? How are you going to go out with all this expensive equipment and go out for $35 and be are you making any money? Because if you said you traveled 1,000 miles last week, because guys who do lawn care in a subdivision, not everybody is a semi truck driver or whatever. I know that you know this. I'm just clarifying it. Because in a subdivision, lawn care, after a guy's been in the business a few years, he might get 15 lawns in that subdivision or in that square mile, and then he start his route density. But for you, with $150 minimum, you have really created a business model where you have your customer avatars you go towards the guys who have multiple trucks and you service that account.
Right, exactly.
Smart.
Do you want to see a video of how this works?
So the guys
we were talking about earlier
only have one truck, they might want it done once a month, and they're willing to pay $150, right?
Right. I have a customer that's literally not even a quarter mile from my shop. So I'll go and I'll wash his stuff for, I think I'm doing one truck for $75. So I'll vary that minimum. But if I'm traveling any distance at all, you're going to hit a minimum.
I know you're about to show the video. I had one more question about that. It was
go for it.
I'll think about it in a minute. So show me the video.
So we were just talking about two-stepping and
how much does it cost to get into this business?
Yeah. So
the right way.
if you're specifically just wanting to wash trucks, you don't care about like houses and residential and all that stuff, the cost of entry is actually really low because you can get, like I was talking about earlier, an 8 gallon a minute machine for, you know, 1,600-1,700 bucks because you don't need a ton of pressure. And that's what drives the price up on those machines is something with super high pressure. So really, a pressure washer, I mean, if you wanted to go old school to get started in a bucket and a brush, you know, and a trailer, or you could work out the back. I mean, it depends on how little you want to go. You could work out the back of your truck. Like there's guys do it all the time and they have, you know, $2,000 invested. You start adding a trailer or,
but
you want to
you need mobile water though. Well, that's when you get to the
so
leagues, right?
a lot of my customers have water. So I hook up to their water, even though I'm carrying water just because I want to stay full.
Oh, you got a big ass reel. That's probably press a button and it electronically comes right back and all that. Like you're efficient.
Right. Yeah. But actually, I don't have a reel on electric one on the big truck, but I do on the other one. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it depends on how big you want to go. Like you can start super small and go out and make some money right away.
I didn't even know that this existed. Like, oh, wait a second. Dude, you're bringing all these, but I had this friend Brent, and he drove a semi, and he was always talking about he wanted to start a power washing company. This was way before any of this stuff was even on the radar to me. I'm like, a power washing company. He's like, yeah, dog, we could start a power washing company and power wash semi trucks. I'm like, who the fuck would want to do that? Like, how is that? Don't they just take it through like a big truck wash or like? He goes, no. Like I had no idea, and now that you're bringing this full circle, so like. Because this is like niche. What I mean is that like people don't know about that. And so if you know about this, you have arbitrage.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely.
Show me the video. Show us the video.
All right. So right here, this, we're just applying, like I was saying earlier, apply a pre-wash. And in just a second. All right. So now you just switch to soap.
Oh, look at that long extension on that, dude. That's crazy long.
Yeah. Now you can see there, like the dirt's just coming right off. This isn't the best video ever, but you can really see.
How did that come off so fast like that? Is that hot water?
The chemicals. No, this was in the middle of summertime, so this wasn't even hot water. So literally, I'm going to get a little nerdy on you again. It's a chemical reaction. So you take that low pH pre-wash, followed by that high pH or high alkaline soap, and it basically shocks the surface and basically releases the magnetic bond. And it just falls off.
So it just like disintegrates, like it just can't handle it. It just comes apart, right?
Basically. Exactly. So it's literally that easy. The whole truck, that's exactly how you would do the whole truck.
I'm just so impressed by how fast that dirt came off the truck.
Right.
Like literally just some Terminator shit. So you get access to these chemicals. It would be smart to be licensed and take classes and get educated, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can definitely do some damage if you don't know what you're doing because we are using acids and caustic soaps. They're nowhere near as dangerous as they used to be. Years ago, it used to be like an acid was like what you would envision an acid being, like super nasty, dangerous chemical. But they've come a long way where they're not. It's not as dangerous, I guess. You can still do some damage, but you gotta.
This is dope. Like you guys listening right now, if you want to get tickets, his event is just in a couple weeks here. Talk about the event real quick, and then we'll jump back into the podcast and the website. Where can they go get tickets right now? If you're interested, you want to go to Clearwater, Florida in a couple weeks and learn all about this from the man himself. What is it?
That website's fwa2019.com. Again, that's in Clearwater, Florida, and it's actually next week. We basically focus at that event more on specifically building and growing a truck washing business just because it is so niche. We don't so much focus on a ton of the technical stuff. We do have, I think, 3 hours one day is focused on just teaching what I was just showing you, how to two-step, how to do it effectively, how to do it. Like we're going to basically show you what we do to two-step a truck in 6 minutes. So we're going to teach the technical side, but we more so lean towards the business building side specifically for truck washing.
I'm pulling this over here onto the big screen so everybody can see the website. It's right behind me. See that? So go to fwa2019.com. I've been promoting this. It's on my window cleaning blueprint YouTube channel. You see how I'll be talking about this. So who's going to be there? Who's going to be speaking and teaching? What can these guys expect to learn? How long is this event? What are they going to walk away with?
So it's February 4th, 5th, and 6th. We've got, obviously, you're coming in to cover social media marketing. Jason Evers is coming in. Do you know Jason Evers, Keith?
Dude, I heard all about Jason Evers. This guy, he built a 7-figure business from the ground up. He's been through everything, you name it. And then he spoke all over the world, training and stuff. Then he went back into the service business world, and now he's still speaking, but he's just a powerful guy. I was on the phone with him for an hour and a half about a month ago, and he's super tuned in. And what I liked about Jason is, even though the guy's done millions of dollars, he's a family man, but you can ask him any question, and he will get very humble, and he'll tell you the truth, and he'll tell you the way that it is. And crystal clear. Like, there was a point I asked him a couple of questions that I was nervous about with my business and growing my business. I was like, yeah, but what about this? And what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And he said, listen, man, this is the way it is, the big picture. So that's what I liked about him.
Yeah. Jason is the man. He is super good at like marketing and branding. And clearly the way he took his business and blew it up there in Southwest Florida. But so he's going to be one of the keynotes. We've got another keynote, which I think the website, we had to make a last minute change. The website might be wrong on that second keynote still, but Tim Kroll, for those of you who don't know Tim Kroll, you should definitely look him up and follow him. He took a business from, I want to say it was $10,000 a month to $10 million a month.
What?
Yeah.
Kroll
Let that sink in for a second. $10 million a month. Like, it's insane. So he's going to be covering one, employees. He's speaking twice. So he's speaking on employees for his keynote on day 2. Yeah, that's the one that's not right. And then on day 3, he's leading up it's kind of like a marketing workshop where we're basically building your message and building your marketing strategy for your entire year. So that's what's really cool about this year is we added that 3rd day so we can help these guys build their marketing strategy, build their perfect customer avatar, and just completely strategize for the entire year. And that is all day 3 is focused on.
Guys, if you need help being more organized and being perceived as a professional to your clients and prospective customers, then you got to check out Jobber. Jobber is an awesome software that you can run your entire service business on. You can create invoices, quotes, estimates, work orders. It integrates with your calendar. You can collect money. You can run your whole business on Jobber and grow with it as well. Get your 14-day free trial of Jobber at keithkalfas.com/Jobber. I use Jobber in my business and it's awesome.
Real quick, I got to talk about Tim Kroll. I was at AGSX for the 2nd year in a row, just a few months ago in October. Is the Automate, Grow, Sell live experience with Joshua Latimer, Brandon Vaughn, and it's where guys go to, but I ran into Tim Kroll there. For those of you who don't know Tim, he's just a super, super humble guy. And I'm looking on my phone right now because he recommended this book to me. So I start talking to Tim. And he talks about getting focused on, what's working and what's not working and how to dial in on that focus. And he's like, man, you got to read this book. So if Tim told me I got to read it, I read it. And here it is right here. It's called Essentialism.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can see it here on Audible. The book Essentialism. I read that, bro. And how the book starts out is this guy's like a high 6-figure executive or something. He's flying all over the country. He's busy as hell. He's obsessed with success. He's got a wife and kids at home. And at some point, he realized that even though he was working his guts out, he was unfulfilled. I'm trying to get clear here, but it's because he just kept working harder and harder and harder and harder. And he kept saying yes to so many. That's why it's called Essentialism, the book. He kept saying yes to so many things that he thought that was what successful was, but he was just stripping away his well-being and time with his family. And at one point he just had a breakdown. He said, I'm pressing the reset button on everything, and I'm saying no to everything and only saying yes to the most high value tasks that are the most high profitable, and that's going to serve my life's purpose and my family. And he was scared at first because now he was saying no to everything. But the craziest thing happened, and this is where the book takes off and just hooks you and sucks you in, is where it actually worked for him phenomenally. And he didn't lose any salary or money. He didn't lose any relationships, and he was able to spend more time with his family and pursue his life's purpose. So Essentialism is a great book. Thanks, Tim Kroll. He'll be there. You want to see Tim? Yeah, no. All right, sorry. Who's next?
It was a man.
I'm not going to do a whole introduction for every person. I'm excited, man.
We got Paul Consander. I don't even have my schedule in front of me. He's going to be talking about profitability. Terry Craycraft, he's with Hydrochem Systems. He's going to be covering the wash science, which is one of the technical topics. Basically how that two-step process works, the difference between caustic, alkaline, high pH, low pH. He's going to get super technical because a lot of our attendees are new to the industry, and we're trying to teach them, how to be safe at the same time. We've got Bobby James doing safety. Let me pull up my schedule. We've got Jason Evers. We got Jason's brother coming in too, actually, Jeff Evers. He's going to be talking about scaling a business. Jeff Evers, Jason's brother, which is no surprise here, has a service business also in Southwest Florida. But he has systemized and scaled this thing to the max. And it's all based on reoccurring revenue, which really is similar to fleet washing, because that's all our business is reoccurring revenue. But he took what typically is a residential once every 3 to 5 years model and flipped it and turned it into a yearly reoccurring revenue model.
I heard people say if you don't have recurring revenue, you don't have a business. Every month you're going out of business.
This is the thing, you got to have it. Without it, you're always chasing that next one, and which is fine. You can definitely there's guys that make a ton of money doing that, but with recurring revenue, it's so much easier to scale and forecast because you know exactly what you're going to do next month,
with average ticket price. So if you have a lower ticket price, you want to make sure it's recurring and stable, right?
Exactly. Who else? I think that's it. Tim Kroll's doing employee mindset on day 2. Then we're also doing an expert panel, which is really the second more technical topic. So anybody who has questions throughout the event about anything, that's the perfect time to ask. We're going to bring in basically all the experts that are there to answer questions. You mentioned average ticket, which is interesting because I was just looking at that last night. So in the fleet washing industry, we work on volume. But my average ticket is for last week, it was 503.
That's crazy. All right, this is dope, man. Guys that are just interested in pressure washing or soft washing of homes and concrete and things like that, if there's guys that want to learn about that, I know you're talking about fleet washing actual trucks. Would it make sense for a guy who's interested in soft washing homes? Could he learn anything or take any value away by coming and checking this out?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, so that's our biggest focus is building the business, because I think we all would agree that doing the thing, whether it's washing a truck or cutting grass or doing whatever, once you know how to do it, it's just you repeat it. It's simple. The business part is what's hard. So we focus heavily on growing a business. So I don't care what you're doing, what industry you're in. You're going to find value in learning about marketing and branding. You're going to find value in learning how to market on social media. You're going to find value in learning about how to keep and retain employees. Everything that we're going to talk about, you're going to find value in. And then as a bonus, you're going to learn how to wash trucks too.
That's dope. One thing I love about live events, especially getting around 6-figure earners like yourself and even 7-figure earners, or guys that care enough to throw a live event and to show up, and is the community. It's the cultures that you have those conversations even after the conference over dinner, where you'll be talking to another guy who's been through everything you're going through, and you get this aha moment, and you're like, that's why I traveled all the way here, because you just literally helped me see my worth and my value, and I didn't know that I was looking at it wrong. Or, oh my God, I got to go back home and I got to make that decision and fire that guy. I got to do it, man. He's a cancer in my company, and thank you for helping me with the courage. Or I got to go back and tell that guy he's got to step up to the plate. Or I got to make that key hire. Or, oh my God, I was too afraid to spend money on marketing. Or like, you get these aha moments where it's like, that's why I came here. Live events are so important. By getting,
I tell people all the time, like we put a ton of value in our sessions and the speakers and everything that we're bringing. But there's even either equal to or possibly even more value in that time afterwards when you're networking with other contractors that are in your shoes, or you can talk to somebody who's maybe doing a lot more than you and you can learn from them. Like last year at dinner one night, I had the opportunity to sit down and have dinner with Brandon Vaughn, Josh Latimer, DJ Carroll, somebody else. I forget who the other person was, but like heavy hitters, I think we would all agree in the industry. To just sit down there and eat dinner and just talk and and everything. Like it was just incredible. That moment alone was worth the entire trip.
That's dope. And where were you at when you just did this?
That was last year. We were in Clearwater, Florida. It was the same spot.
Nice. Oh, and speaking of Clearwater, my wife was on the phone last night and she was just going to make sure our hotel and our itinerary is set up because we're getting ready to hop on the plane and come out to you guys. It's freezing. I'm in Michigan. Midwest, North, like there's ice and snow outside. My dog goes outside, he's shaking, he goes pee and comes right back in. You get off a plane in Florida, we're looking at the hotel, it's like a resort, like it's close to the water, you can go swimming, hopefully it'll be warm enough, but I mean, it's also, because it's a business trip, you know where I'm going with this, it's important to unplug for a little bit and get some clarity, and that's what I like about it as well, so.
Yeah, this year, last year I was in and out. Literally flew down the day before, and then the day after I was out. But this year I'm taking my wife, and we're going a couple days early just to kind of get settled in, and then we're staying like 3 days afterwards, just to kind of, like you just said, unplug and kick back. And because who doesn't want to go to Southwest Florida in the winter?
Nice. I took this online course. I'm an info junkie, but it was called Accelerate High Growth Business Training by Eben Pagan. It was like a few $1,000. It's like crazy. But anyways, he was talking about like the best, highest performers in the world, whether it's a pro athlete, tennis player, entrepreneur, are the ones that can learn how to unplug 100%. He says, I'm not talking about taking a day off. He says, I'm talking about, allowing yourself once every quarter to sleep in for multiple days, totally relax, even if it's a staycation, like in, did you hear that? He says, he did that on stage in the conference, when you can totally allow yourself to get out of the anxiousness or the fear or the tension and completely relax, like disconnect completely. That's when there's something resets in your nervous system. You can see the forest for the trees. Everything becomes clear to you because now you're outside of it. And DJ was talking about running full speed in the wrong direction. And it's hard. It's hard to let go and give yourself that permission to do that, because we think if we let go, oh my God, we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it, right? But if you let go, then you can come back in and just crush it, dude. You can come back in full speed. So if you are looking to come out to the Fleet Wash Academy and spend an extra day or two, if you can afford it, and Florida, man, shit.
Yeah, you definitely can't go wrong.
I wish we had a live running discussion. I would like to do this live so we can get Q&A in here, because there's so many questions people have, and I do apologize that, is there any questions people have that you can think of that you would love to answer?
I'm trying to think the most common questions. We have a Facebook page too, like it's the Fleet Wash Academy. It's a Facebook group, but the most common questions in there is, like what soaps do I use? And, my answer to that is always to reach out to your favorite vendor or one of the vendors that support our group, Southside, Power Wash Store, BioClean, Hydrochem, and just try them out. Try their soaps out and see what you like, because everybody's needs are slightly different. So, my advice is just to get something and try it and see what happens, see what you like, see what works, see what's cost effective for you, because you might be just outside Kentucky and can get stuff from Russ Johnson for next to nothing because there's no freight, or, you know what I mean? So it depends on where you're at. Certain vendors are going to be able to freight stuff to you for different prices. So We get a lot of questions about soaps. We get a lot of questions about technique, and that's something that's kind of hard to teach over the internet. That's really like an in-person thing. And we always push to a lot of guys is find somebody in your area that's an hour, 2 hours away, and go work with them for a weekend or a couple weekends and learn from them.
That's huge right there. You just got me thinking over the summer. So I just bought my first house last spring, and I wanted to get a pressure washer. So I sold a soft washing job of a whole house. I'm sorry, a power washing of a house. And off the research I've done, I literally got stuff from Home Depot to clean it. And I pre-sprayed the whole thing down, and it wasn't strong enough. So I was sitting there like, dude, it took me 4 hours to do the siding on a 2-story house. And my friends were laughing at me saying, dude, that like you could have done that in an hour if you had the right chemicals. But I was afraid to mess up their siding or something because I don't know how strong to use it, and I'm not qualified to do it. So, and then I was like, oh my God, I got to point downward so I don't get water behind the siding. And I was like kind of freaking out, bro. And I was like, I'm never doing that again until I come to something like you have or talk with guys and learn the right way to do it.
There's a ton of guys out there that are willing to just let you come right along and learn, especially if you're going to trade a little bit of work for it. You know, they're getting some free labor and they're teaching you along the way. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody telling somebody, no, like, you're not allowed to come here, help me. So that's like anybody looking to get in the industry, like, that's probably the best thing you can do is just go ride with somebody who's doing it. But just pick somebody that's a few hours away, so it's not like you're trying to get with a competitor or whatever. And you might surprise you. Like sometimes the competitor won't care either. They'll say, "Yeah, come on, let's check it out." What other questions? I don't know. That's tough. I get so many. It's hard to think of which ones are the most common questions.
Well, I know where we can wrap up with. Tell me a story of something that was really hard that you struggled through, like a job, and then you were able to finally pull the thing off and get it done. It just blew up in your face. Everything went wrong, and you were able to finally solve it, and what you learned from it. Or like soft washing, pressure washing trucks. I mean, what could go wrong there? That's, like a layman like me would think.
Yeah, right. Man, I don't know that I've ever had like something go terribly wrong, but I did have this one customer. They wanted their truck wash. It was a huge account. I think this account's worth like, at the time it was like $60,000 or $80,000 a year. So, and they wanted me to come do the work, but I didn't physically have the time in my schedule to fit them in. So in my mind, the first thing I went to was like, oh, I need another truck. But really all I had to do was, I've always told myself, nobody wants their stuff washed on anytime during the week. They only want it washed on the weekends, which a lot of people think the truck washing it's only on the weekends, but I do a lot of work throughout the week. So, and that's really the key to growing this is finding weekday revenue. It is harder, but I just told him like, hey, look, I'm coming on Fridays to wash your trucks. And he said, okay. So it's like, I went from, oh my God, I need to go spend $80,000 on a truck so that I can pick up this customer, because I was telling myself, I was in my own head that the only time I could do it on the weekend was on the weekend, when really, hey, I'm coming on Friday. And if they want you to do the work, then they're going to make it work. So I went on Fridays, and I've been doing it on Fridays for like 3 years now.
Isn't that so crazy how you can get stuck in your head thinking that this is the only way, and then you realize you just had to switch one little thing around and it solves the whole problem, and it was right in front of you the whole time. That's crazy.
Exactly.
So I had this funny thought in my head. Mobile truck washing, like you're beside them on the freeway while they're driving. You pull up like NASCAR and you're doing it in real time. But another one is, why do these guys want their trucks washed? Like I see semis that are really clean and it's impressive, like, because I don't know anything about trucking. But when they're really, really dirty, you're like, man, that thing's dirty. That guy must be on the road all the time. That's the only thing I think. But like, and if it's a food delivery truck, like a Costco or a McDonald's or anything that delivers
right.
food, of course, if it's dirty, it's going to hurt the brand. But why do these guys want their trucks dirty? They don't give a crap, versus clean versus super clean. Why?
So there's a lot of reasons. One, if you're like an owner operator, or even if you're not, if it's a fleet manager and he has a whole fleet of them, DOT. So DOT is always on the road looking at these trucks, and it's proven that if it's dirty, you are, I think the stats are like 10 times more likely to get pulled over for a random inspection. And I don't know about...
Oh my God. That is your biggest marketing piece.
Mm-hmm. If
you talk about stuff like that to your prospective clients that you want to earn their business, you already probably do all this, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
Yeah, so they don't want, in a DOT inspection, it's going to take at least a half hour, maybe more. If they find something wrong, they could park you until you get it fixed. So it's just a huge loss in revenue for these companies if they get stopped by DOT. So that's a big one. Again, you touched on it, brand. They want their image to look clean. They want to look clean. They lost my train of thought. Maintenance. So they're out there cleaning their trucks, or we're cleaning their trucks, and you can spot something that's broken, or a hose that's going to blow out, or anything. You can see a crack in a frame. Like these trucks, eventually you can get cracks in the frames, cracks in the wheels. Like these things, you can see that if it's clean. So it's a huge maintenance thing, so they can know when to spot a failure or repair before it happens, so they can take care of that ahead of time.
And then also you can spot that stuff as well when you're seeing it all the time, and become a value to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like anytime my guys or myself, we see something like that, we make a note, and then it's attached to the invoice. So, hey, truck 3 rear wheel has a crack in it, or whatever. Like we can spot that for them and let them know.
That's dope. So you have real relationships with your clients.
Exactly.
I like that. I got my CDLB I can drive a school bus, a limousine, air brake certified, and passengers. And I remember taking the test, and then I failed it the first time, and I had to do it again. And like during the road test, I was in the fast lane, and I didn't know I was supposed to. Like I was trying to get my CDL, and I did it. And but anyways, it was like I don't remember. I think it was like a 126 point inspection.
Right.
And even though if you asked me today, I would probably fail it horribly because I'd have to go through it again. But it blew my mind how much stuff you have to know mechanically, and how much I had to learn in order to pass that test. And so that's a big deal to these guys now I'm seeing. And then having a clean truck and the amount of business and volume they run and what they do. So that is making more sense now, which means that it's a business model where you can really, really crush it. So can you go multi-state? Can you like...
Yeah. I am. So where I live, I'm close to Delaware. I live in Maryland. My shop's in Maryland, but I'm 30 minutes from Delaware. So I do a lot of work in Delaware. I'm not close to Virginia, but if I needed to go to Virginia, I probably could. It's a couple hours away. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you can't cross state lines. Just make sure, certain states have different laws regarding tags or whatever you need to travel across state lines. But other than that, there's no reason why you can't.
Sweet. All right, cool. So let's wrap this up. Eric Trice, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll see you next week, February 4th, 5th, and 6th at the Fleet Wash Academy in Clearwater, Florida. If you guys want to get a ticket, better get one now. I know this is a little late, but fwa2019.com.
Absolutely.
And then what else? How can anybody get a hold of you, or do you not want people getting a hold of you?
No, absolutely. If somebody wants to get a hold of me, you can check me out on Facebook, or you can shoot me an email at eric@thefleetwashacademy.com. If you're looking for more information or just have a question about getting into business, want to know how to get started, definitely shoot me an email. I'd love to help you out.
Dope, man. Thanks for being on the show, and I'll see you next week, bro. I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
Nice. All right. Later, guys.
Guys, you got to try Responsibid. Yes, Responsibid. This is a software that I'm plugging into the front of my website for the past 2 years now that literally closes jobs. Yes, it sells jobs for me on autopilot while you're out doing other jobs, sleeping, on vacation. I'm not kidding. This software called Responsibid, you plug it into the front of your website and a customer can get what's called an instant bid, right? And then they go in And now they can actually get pricing and get qualified. You can actually plug in little videos of yourself introducing yourself to the customer. It's a funnel. And then once they go through it, they can actually get on your calendar, sign a proposal, and be ready to do the work. And all you have to do is show up and do the work. I didn't even believe it until it actually happened to me and I got the software on my website, and now it's definitely part of my business. And I couldn't imagine being without it. So get your free trial of Responsibid today at keithkalfas.com/bid. keithkalfas.com/bid. BID.